I've got an absolutely massive video for you today, guys. We're going to be looking at some insane tricks to help you improve on Siege, and you're going to see just a few examples of what's to come, from hiding spots to spawn peaks and much more tricks in today's video. So you're going to want to stick around for every second of it. Now go down into the comment section. Let me know what your current rank is and what you'd like to see on the channel moving forward. And of course, let's aim for 500 likes. Let's do it in the first 24 hours. And if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button. We're aiming for 200k by the end of the summer. Now this first trick here on Clubhouse is inside the kitchen, a new hiding spot. It is a sick spot. Big shout out to Jackie Rocks for finding this. So what you're going to do is you're going to impact the cabinets in the corner above the fridge and make sure to break all 4 of those doors. And then as a Zami, you're going to jump up on top of the counter here, and right in front of the sink, you're going to place a Kiba barrier exactly where I've pinpointed. It has to be exact for this to work. And once the Kiba barrier hits the side of the cabinet, you're going to immediately look up and run, and it will push you up on top of the fridge. From here, you can vault up on top of the shelving unit up here, and you just have endless possibilities from up here. If there's people pushing in from freezer door or they're coming in the kitchen door, they're just not going to be expecting you to be sitting up here. It is a really strong spot, and if you break open the top of the window over the top of the wooden beam, you'll see anyone coming in from the spawn and pushing towards the window. It's a strong spot, and I cannot wait to try this out and see if I can get some picks from it. Now, another important thing to remember, make sure to destroy the Kiba barrier. If you're going to leave that there, then they're going to see it on the drone, they're going to start investigating, so make sure to destroy it. And then up here, you're pretty much a ghost and you can catch people off guard. Now, staying on Clubhouse for this next one, this is just a remaster inside the stockroom. You used to have to put a Kiba barrier on the side of the red dolly on the wheel to vault up on top of the containers. You no longer have to do that. You just have to break the bottles in the corner here, and it's a little tricky, but if you find the vault prompt exactly where I pinpointed, you'll be able to vault up on top of the containers, and then in the corner, making sure to break just the corner containers, you can drop down in behind and lay prone in behind the containers. They're, again, just a complete ghost in here, because if they drone you out, they're not going to see you hidden inside here, and you can just pop up, pick them off, whether they're coming in from the door on the right or pushing over from the kitchen side heading in towards the stockroom. Another simple one, and again, all you have to do to get out of it is to shoot one of the containers and you'll be able to push yourself out and disappear out of the room. Now moving on to Border for another remaster here for Siege X. This is a great spot inside the supply room. Now what you used to do is you used to put a Kiba barrier on the second handle of the lockers, but now you're going to put one on the first handle of the lockers and make sure to break the 2 gray containers on top of the shelf. Now what you do then is you're going to jump up on top of this big container here, and you'll get a vault prompt over the barrier up on top of the shelving unit. Now you can maneuver around the top of this. There's lots of different angles you can create. You can push around this little white container here. It can be a little annoying to get past it first, but you could also just sit here and you get a nice little pixel angle through to the window of anyone pushing through the detention wall. Now you can also go over the top of this white container by just running at it, pushing over it, and you can sit on the other side and watch anyone who tries to open the window. So there's just so many different opportunities from up here for angles. You can also open up the wall out in towards customs. You can open up the wall out towards the hallway by metal, and you have a really good power position sitting up here. Of course, there's a possibility of you getting droned out, but if you're smart with it, you could really pull off some great picks here. And then there's another thing you can do is if you go to the end of the locker and break the black bag, you can then walk and vault across to the middle shelves, and you could sit up here as well and get angles down the hallway past metal. It's a little bit more riskier being up on this middle part, but again, it's another option to use in this spot. Then moving on to the next one, and this is outside the waiting room on Border. Now, this isn't as really good as a hiding spot. You could use it as a hiding spot, but what I figured out is you can actually put an evil eye up here or other utility to really frustrate any attackers pushing in the building. So you're going to jump over the side of this half wall and stand on top of the fan, and then you're going to run along the edge and then turn and look towards the vending machine, and you'll be able to vault up on top of it. You could then place like an evil eye up here, which is going to make it so difficult for them to destroy it. They're going to have to use an Ash Charge or a Sophia to take it out, or even a Nade, and it's just going to be really good for intel to distract attackers as they're pushing towards either the bathroom teller site or if the site is inside of workshop. Now moving on to a spawn peak here on Villa. Big shout out to Pendant for finding this disgusting spawn peak. So what you're going to do is this requires a little bit of timing, so you're going to wait about 3.5 to 4 seconds. You're going to jump out the window and you're going to shoot right through this shutter on the side of the barn wall. Now once you do that, it's actually going to go straight through that little opening as attackers are pushing up from the spawn. It takes about 3.5 to 4 seconds for them to reach this exact point where I'm standing, which is why I'm talking about just waiting those few seconds. And you can see here as I'm approaching up towards here, the person can jump out the window, and of course this is just for a demonstration, so I'm just waiting to show that these bullets do go through the shutter and will take you out as they're pushing up to the spawn. So you've got to be very careful of that. You can see here, you just time it, run out and just shoot straight through those shutters, and you can take out anyone off the spawn. Now another spawn peek here over on Kafe. This has been around for a long time, but this is like a little bit of a better way of doing it. Again, a good find from Pendant for this one. So what you do here is you place a Kiba barrier on the side of the wall, you can vault over it, and then all you do is break the top of the green chair. You can then stand and elevate yourself on the top of the little broken part of the chair, and you'll be able to see over the top of the blue fence all the way down towards that Christmas spawn. You will actually see just about above their shoulder height, their neck and their head as they're coming in off of that Christmas spawn, and you can really frustrate attackers and get an early pick in the round. You can see here where the bullets are hitting all the way down inside that Christmas spawn, and you're going to be seeing, like, you're going to be pushing right up on this point right here, and that's all you're going to be able to see on the top of that blue fence. You can see there's actually a head just standing there right now, and then I'm just showing you the example of what it looks like from their perspective using Cali. Shout out to Chris for the headshot on that one. Now moving on to the next trick, guys, and this involves Monty and preferably a Cali in this situation. So what you can do here is if you use a can opener to open up the wall, it can be the bottom right, the bottom middle or left, it doesn't matter, and then have Monty stand in front of the opening with his shield fully extended. Cali can then lay prone behind the shield, and Monty can give a call of a defender trying to swing that opening, and he can lift his shield up almost like a trapdoor, and you can pick off the person behind the shield. It's a really sick little thing to try out, definitely a lot of fun. I've already tried this out and it's a really good one to work with, especially if you time it right with your teammate. Now moving on to the next one, this is an insane lineup on Clubhouse for the main stairs. Again, I don't know how Penda finds these lineups, but it's actually insane. So if you stand exactly where I pinpointed outside the double window of bar, and then line up a nade exactly on the corner of the hatch inside the window, you can throw a nade over the tops of the wall all the way down to the midpoint of the main stairs. It will also blow up that pipe on the main stairs as well, so if there's anyone holding an angle down there, or if you've droned out someone sitting on that point on the stairs, you can pick them off. Now moving on for a Fenrir setup here on Clubhouse. This is an insane setup to really frustrate attackers trying to plant in that default plant spot. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the first one on the underside of this shelving unit right here, really difficult for them to see it, and as they drop the hatch they'll get picked off by the Fenrir. Now the second one goes above this little metal sheet inside of dirt, again really difficult for them to spot initially, and as they walk past it they'll already be affected by the Fenrir device. And then the third one goes out inside of blue right up next to this generator on the side of the wall, and the reason for it being up there is that they cannot shoot it from the hatch, and they obviously will have a lot of difficulty until they push past the generator, which at that point is already a risk to the attacker. And then the next one goes above this pipe inside of church. Again, if they drop down into Moto and try to push in and plant right by that fridge, this one will be tucked away above the pipe and it'll be very difficult for them to shoot it out. Now, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples of the attacker actually dropping the hatch here inside kitchen, and the second they hit the ground the Fenrir will activate and they will be completely blinded and won't be able to see anything, which will allow your teammates to pick them off. The same goes for anyone pushing through dirt, the same idea. They're going to run through dirt and then immediately turn and try and kind of figure out that they're near the default and get hit again by the Fenrir. Now moving on to the next one. Now this is a Thatcher utility clear for elbow down inside of basement. Now I showed this in one of my recent videos for actually getting stuff off of the walls, but this also works for clearing utility to allow someone to rush through elbow, whether it's a shield, maybe a blitz or something, to try and clear out elbow. So what you can do is right outside the building, exactly where I've pinged on the ground here, you can throw an EMP and it will take out anything on the walls, the doorway, anywhere in that area of the floor. Now as well, you can put a second one to the left, just a small bit, exactly where I pinpointed, and it will get the other utility down inside of elbow. So that whole area would be completely EMP'd and allow your teammates to quickly rush through and clear out that area and make a push towards the site. Now on to Consulate for this next one. This is a smoke lineup for that default plant spot inside CO office. Now what you can do here is you can basically reinforce the single wall on this side here, making an opening on the top, and then by looking at that little bolt on the middle of the reinforcement, if you go over to the corner here and push up right where I've pinpointed, you'll be able to line up a smoke to go right over the top of that reinforcement all the way to the side of that window. Big shout out to Pendant again for these lineups. He really has them to a T to where they're going to land. and you can see it hits right on that pillar there, which will completely cover that entire area as they're trying to plant a diffuser. Again, a really strong position to have set up early on in the round, and if you get the call that they're trying to plant there, you could just go to that position and smoke it out very quickly. And moving on to the next trick, guys, and we have an angle over here on Oregon. Now, this is a very unorthodox one. You're not going to be really doing this very often, but it's a good one to know about, and it involves using Finka. So what you can do here is you come all the way up to the top of Big Tower, and you can jump off the building and land on top of this little side roof. You then Finka boost to get back up. Now, obviously, you're going to be down HP, but what this does is you can open up the window into kids, and you can see some incredible angles all the way through to the top of White Stairs, or anyone sitting right on the corner of the top of White Stairs, and I'll show you what this looks like from the other perspective as well. Now, of course, you could have a Finka on your team and you could go up there as a Kali or a Glaz and then they could get you up, but it is risky. It is going to take away some of your HP, so it's not like a very good one to use all the time, but it could be something to just catch them a little off guard. Now, moving on to the next one, guys, and this is just a really important tip to remember over on Theme Park. Everyone seems to forget that the cache balcony floor is completely soft. This is so important to remember, as this is such a high traffic area for attackers to push. So you could be sitting downstairs on the gong double door, waiting with a pulse, checking to see if anyone's rappelled onto the balcony, and you could see for them from below. It's simple, but it's such an important one to remember. So always remember, especially when you're playing on that top Inishi site, that you can play this underneath and get some easy picks in the early parts of the round. Now, moving on to the next trick, guys, and this is an angle over here on Nighthaven, located on the top floor inside of servers. Now, right behind the pillar here, you're going to shoot a hole in the floor, and then you'll see the single wall down inside games. You're going to shoot open the top of that wall. Now, the best thing about this angle is that it's pretty much a one-way angle down into storage on the first floor. A lot of attackers like to push in that window inside storage and make their way into the building. This is a really strong angle, and you'll see here from the other perspective that they actually can't see where you're shooting from. You can see where the bullets are landing on the floor here, but they can't see where the angle is. Now, if you want to see more angles like this, I have a dedicated angles video over on my channel. The link is down inside the description. Now, moving on to the next one, guys, and this one takes us over onto Oregon, and this is a nice angle that you can use with the Mira setup inside the basement. So you just reinforce the right hand side of the wall like normal, you place your Mira on it, and then you make your head holes as you would normally when you're setting up this area of the site. But what you're then going to do is go around into laundry, and right in front of those tables in front where the sinks are, you're going to make a hole in the bottom of the sinks. You'll be able to see through the bottom of these little cabinets all the way across to the main stairs. You're then going to go back in behind the Mira, and you can make a small hole in the wall on the bottom of the floor next to the reinforced wall. And then from there, you can use the Mira to watch for anyone swinging that main stairs, and you can be watching, and you can drop down to your left and pick them off by shooting them from underneath the cabinets. It's a really simple setup, but it's super effective because they're focused on the Mira, they're focused on trying to break it, trying to push into that bottom area of laundry, and you'll be able to catch them off guard, and you can see where the bullets are hitting, and it's really difficult for them to see you laying on the ground. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Now, make sure to join my Discord. We're aiming to get over 500 members in the Discord. I'm going to have a massive giveaway when we hit 200k on the YouTube channel, and you're going to want to be in the Discord for all the information on that. Now, also go down into the comment section. If there's a particular operator, just like I did with Flores in my recent video, that you want to see on the channel, I will focus in on that op and give you all the details on that operator. Now, of course, if you have not followed me over on Twitch, make sure to do so. I do stream over there regularly, so come over and hang out and maybe jump in for some games as well. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload my next video. And as always, I'll talk to you in the next one.